All right, going to be doing another comic review and another book sent to by my friend Chris. Thank you once again, and as always, bro. And today we're going to be talking about Florence and Normandie from Zombie Love Studios. This is an independent book written by Rodney Barnes and Exhibit, as in the rapper. But yeah, he didn't exactly write the book. He basically came up with the story, and Rodney Barnes wrote it. Rodney Barnes is a writer I've enjoyed, and I've talked about in this channel before. He's done a lot of like horror books. Of course, his biggest being Philadelphia, which I do have, and I've said this before, is that I did enjoy Volume 1, and and Chris did send me Volumes 2 and 3. And I do want to read them. It's just every time I get close to like getting ready to read Volumes 2 and 3 of Philadelphia, something bad happens in the news. I see something on the political spectrum, and it just makes me go, just, I'll hold it off. Yeah. Every time I get close, and then something happens, and I just go, next time. But I did manage to read this. The name Florence and Normandie is kind of big in LA. Obviously, it's where a lot of the gang-related crimes happen, as well as that was kind of the epicenter of the Rodney King riots, and they kind of bring that up in this. And actually, they don't kind of; they really do bring this up. But we'll get to that in a minute. Basically, what the best way I can describe this comic right here, the best way I can describe this is War of the Worlds meets Straight Outta Compton. That's the best way I could describe this book, is mashing those two together. So essentially the story follows two characters, Malik, who is a down-on-his-luck engineer who is now, like, he's just working at Uber Eats and doing DoorDash deliveries, and Officer Trent Brown, who's going through a divorce and is prone for aggression with suspects. Well, Trent and Malik run into each other after Trent almost guns down Malik after mistaking him for a thief. But just before he gets gunned down, the whole lower part of LA gets attacked by by an alien invasion from both underground and above in the sky. So now Malik and Brown and Malik have to work together in order to survive alongside other people who have been trapped in this situation, because now Upper LA has issued a quarantine and left the lower levels to die. So Rodney Barnes is this. I'm no stranger to Rodney Barnes' writing. In fact, that's why I like it so much, is because Rodney Barnes does a lot of like very well politically charged stories through horror. I hate to tell you this, but like horror has always been a home for talking about social issues. That was even like Tobe Hooper has admitted there were some social issues in Texas Chainsaw Massacre that is talked about, and of course we see that in Jordan Peele. We see that a lot in Nia DaCosta's work. We see that a lot in horror in general. And again, Rodney Barnes has been really good at that, obviously with Philadelphia, and I also, side note, I am excited for his Batman werewolf story soon. Guy really likes werewolves. I appreciate that. From one werewolf fan to another, I appreciate that. Anyway, so the aliens in here are pretty cool. As you can see, it's very like tripod, like the War of the Worlds. It's very tripod, but they're also organic. Like they have this kind of bioform to them. So I guess you could say it's like they don't really also explain much like the in the War of the Worlds remake, the Steven Spielberg one. They don't. This is the civilian eye view. We basically, like, Malik does talk about like maybe it's this and that, but we don't get any concrete evidence about the aliens. We don't really like talk about like where the aliens come from or what they can or what their purpose is. They're here to kill us. That's all that really matters to the protagonist. And sometimes I appreciate that about the story, like sometimes in Invasions, where it's like, yeah, I don't think the protagonist would really care that much. It's more about surviving. It's not so much how they're here or why they're here. It's like, how are we going to live? And I appreciate that. The other thing is that him and Trent are obviously different ends of the spectrum. Malik himself talked about like his uncle being a cop, and he brings up this very prominent point of like, my uncle cared more about being blue than he did black. And obviously, as a white man, that's you know, I've never really dealt with that before, but hearing that, and also like Chris and and another friend of mine, Zip Like Gory, have talked about like, yeah, we've seen that in communities. It's not okay. So I don't think I'm proper enough to talk about such things, but it is fucked up. It does seem pretty fucked up. And also Trent is going through a divorce. He's also been prone to anger because of his father, who was also a cop, who also instilled this racism into him. I will say that for a comic that's a 5-issue miniseries, they do kind of gloss over some things. Like, Trent has a divorced wife and a daughter he wants to see again, or like a child he wants to see again, but like he never once brings them up. Like, in no part of the story he's like, oh shit, is my wife okay? Because like he doesn't want to talk about the divorce. He thinks there's a way to save them all, save the marriage. But at no point in the invasion he's like, oh shit, is my wife okay? Is my child okay? It's never really brought up. And Malik and Trent's bonding throughout the 5 issues doesn't really feel all that, it feels a little rushed at the end. And it's not really a horror story. I will say that like, Rodney Barnes excels at horror stories. This is not it. This is just, let's have fun. And I gotta admit, he's good at telling at fun stories. And again, I also love just the feel of them. They're very like, it's very Martian meets Tyrannid for the alien designs. It's very War of the Worlds Martian meets Tyrannid. And what else was there? Again, Exhibit's name is on here, but he didn't really contribute much to other than the story. The artwork by, I'm trying to look it up real fast, just so. The artwork by Jonathan Wayshak is really good. It's got this kind of dirty, kind of grimy feel to it, and kind of gives you that feel of the city, and also almost like the heat of not just the battle, but also like the heat you feel in LA, like right here. It's really cool. And again, both like I feel like you could have done this story with Malik and without Trent, because he just doesn't feel like he grows that fast as a character, whereas Malik is more like, holy shit, this is all happening. But I understand the underlying theme of it. I just kind of feel like the execution was a little rocky at the end. I still like this comic, though, and I would recommend it if you have been a fan of like Philadelphia, or just like a good alien invasion story that isn't really I don't think this comic has a sequel. It's just kind of a one-and-done story. It'd be kind of weird if it got a sequel, because it's like, yeah, it got wrapped up pretty solid. I don't think we need a second story. But yeah, it does have its flaws, but I still enjoyed it. It's very much like, it's like War of the Worlds meets 48 Hours. That's actually, I think, is a better one. 48 Hours meets War of the Worlds. That's, I feel, is a better connection. So yeah, I recommend this. And yeah, Chris, thank you once again for the comic. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.